demons, all these angels, all these secrets, all these angles, reapers creeping, all these heads that hang you, all these heads that hang you, all these drugs, all these plugs, all these slugs, all these slugs.
Alright, welcome to the very first episode of the Limbo Effects. Very excited to have my guest here today. He goes by Damian. Do you want your full name?
Sure.
Damian Leyba. Very good friend of mine. I've known this guy for years.
Since we were six.
Yeah, first grade. Known you for years, man. You're a very talented artist, very talented individual in itself. So first thing I wanted to ask you, a lot of people know you by Deathsense.
Yeah.
As far as your music goes. You have a name change now.
Yeah, I do. I've been going by Deathsense probably since 2011. That's when I changed it, because at first it was D-Man.
Yeah,
From
D-Man.
when we were kids up until like sophomore year of high school.
Yep.
And that's when we started to kind of take music more seriously, I think. And that's when I changed it to Deathsense. And and now, probably since, I'd say like the end of last year, I wanted to kind of switch it up and get away from rap music, I guess, in a way, because I was finally able to make the music that I wanted to, more industrial,
Right.
rock, metal type stuff, and that's something I've always wanted to do, and yeah, I finally got to the point where I could do it, so I decided to start it up.
What kind of inspired you to go with this new name, Live from the Gallows?
Live from the Gallows is actually a name that I've had in the bag since probably for a couple years, because at first I was going to do more like acoustic type stuff, kind of like what Bones does with Surrender Dorothy.
Right.
And that's where I kind of got the name for that. And I honestly don't remember how I came up with it.
Because I do remember you,
Yeah.
you would kind of like sprinkle the name at me every now and then, like when I come over to record, you'd be like, "Hey, what do you think of this name?" And I'll be like, "Ah, it's super dope." And then like you kind of just like keep it in a box for a little bit, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So what can we expect from Live from the Gallows?
Well, I dropped a kind of like a test single in October of last year called "I Taste Blood" with Volyavi.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Volyavi.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just to see what people thought, and it was more like of a demo type song, so it doesn't sound like super polished or anything.
And you fully produced that track yourself.
Yeah,
right?
I fully produced it, and I got this buddy of mine, Tattered. He did guitar on it.
Yeah.
So so that came out pretty cool, and that was just like kind of a thing to see what people would think of it. And for the most part, people liked it a lot, and it got pretty good streams.
Yeah,
in the first couple of months.
Absolutely, yeah.
And but moving on from that, my first single, "Program to Fear," that'll be dropping hopefully sometime next month.
Okay.
And that'll be the first like legit thing that I drop.
Okay.
From it. So yeah.
Can we expect like a music video and like full promotion with this, or is it kind of like another demo take, if you will?
No, this one will have a full kind of promotion thing behind it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna be putting out pictures beforehand to kind of get like the image out there.
Okay.
And so yeah, that'll be a full thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. As far as Deathsense goes, is I guess for people's sake, will we see any more of Deathsense, or is that just kind of a chapter that needed to be closed?
I'd say like right now and for now it's closed.
Okay.
I'd say.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean I'll probably drop like some rap songs here and there. Throughout time, but other than that, no, it'll be closed for now until I get comfortable enough to do it again.
Okay.
And stuff. So yeah.
Do you have a favorite Deathsense project that you've put out?
I'd say like one that I go back to all the time is "In the Meantime," which was dropped 3 years ago now, 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
That was like my second like official project. My first one was "When This Was a Safe Place," and then "In the Meantime," and it has songs like "Solitary," which you're featured on.
Yes.
And that's where I kind of started to experiment with more like acoustic type of stuff on there.
Right.
And there's some screams on there too, which, you know, pretty much doing the screams before, a lot of people hear it at least, I think.
I would definitely agree with
Yeah.
that. A lot of people, I don't know, I feel like a lot of, at least like local hip-hop artists, they try to take that style and they put it out there as if they
Yeah.
already perfected it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then it kind of gets jumbled in with other artists where like you hear one artist and you're like, oh, it sounds exactly like this dude, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I know that I do my fair share of screaming, and it's by no standard is it like
Right.
considered metal or heavy or whatever you want to call it. But,
Yeah. And at that time, like when I was putting, because I think there's only like 2 songs on there that had screams. One of them was "Take My Breath Away," and that was like at a point where I knew how to scream, but it wasn't like perfected yet.
Right.
And I think now, like, especially if you heard "I Taste Blood," I do kind of different screams on that, but they're more professional sounding now, I think, than they were back then. So.
Well, I even feel like with Goner, your latest Deathsense project.
Yeah. 2 years ago already.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I feel like you could definitely, like, even from your first couple of records all the way up to Goner, like, you could tell how much that you've improved just musically and then also vocally as, you know, as screaming or rapping or singing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and Goner, I guess, would be another one of my favorites. That's when you can kind of hear like the start of what I'm trying to do now. Like you can hear some industrial stuff in there, some audio effects and shit in there, like
Right.
around. And
Have you ever, this kind of just crossed my mind, so forgive me if this is kind of a weird question, but have you ever thought about maybe re-releasing Goner as Live from the Gallows and maybe like adding some things here or there, or do you think Goner is just, that's what it is, this is the end of Deathsense, but the beginning of something new, you know what I
Right.
mean?
I think like as far as that goes, like I might, once I do start doing shows, I want to bring some of those songs back with it, but other than that, that's kind of where it is.
That's where it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you have do you have a favorite song that you've written? I asked MC Slur this, and he fucking gave me like 6 answers.
Yeah, as he would.
As he would, which
Yeah.
is totally understandable. It's always
Yeah.
kind of hard to answer that question, but
Yeah.
if you could, at least like maybe top 3, is there some songs that you think definitely deserve that honorable mention?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say for sure, but if I had to just pick one off the top of my head, I can't even do that.
It's hard. Like I'm going through all your discovery inside my head. Like I got.
What would you say? Like for you?
For me, at least, I'll give you 3 songs. And I mean, just so everybody knows, this guy has been my fucking mentor slash, just like this is the guy I go through for the last, well, let's say 17 years,
Yeah.
give or take. So, spare me the details.
Yo, yeah, I forgot
One
about
of
that
my one of my absolute favorite songs, not just because of the features that you have on there with Roz Dilliams and Taylor,
Yeah.
but you could just tell, like, once when you made that fucking song, you gave it your all. You put
Yeah.
all your emotion in it, and just your rhyme schemes and how that hook hits, and then with Roz's kind of like I can never describe that dude's flow. It's kind of like lackadaisical.
Yeah,
In a way, you know what I mean?
I see what you said. Yeah.
But like with your hard ass flow and then his flow combined, I don't know. I'd like, if the music industry heard that song,
yeah.
I feel like that song would have been like, boop, you know what I mean?
Okay. Hell yeah. Yeah, but yeah, that one, I didn't think of that one. That's a good one. That whole "It's Getting Old" album, like I listen to it now and it's kind of like but I mean there are some moments on there that I can like look fondly on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
I kind of feel like, at least like, because I do that all the time, where like I'll listen to some of my older projects, and even like now, like when I listen back to like Live Free, I get those cringy moments where you're like,
yeah.
oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that or
Right.
done something a little bit differently. But Yeah, man. I think if nobody has ever heard of Deathsense's music, that Discovery line, definitely go check it out and enjoy it for what it is until you get that new live from the Gallows.
Yeah.
You have your own podcast.
Yeah.
You want to kind of tell the listeners about that a little bit more?
Me and our friend Anthony, if you guys all know Anthony Stevens, we started a YouTube channel called Thwackjack Productions, and basically he kind of contacted me and wanted to start a kind of skit show, just so, because he knew I was in acting classes and stuff, so he wanted to help me like polish that.
Right.
And it turned into making a podcast. Now we're starting to make list videos, like top 10, whatever.
Right.
And yeah, it's mainly movie-based, entertainment industry-based, and talking about like our favorite comic book things and stuff like that.
So definitely in the entertainment world.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've been on their podcast a couple of times.
Yeah,
and
he's
I
been
know,
on a few times.
I know I have a blast doing it.
Yeah.
So anybody that hasn't heard of their podcast, please go check it out. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, Thwackjack on all social medias. Just look up THAWKJAK, Thwackjack.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. To break into your acting, how did you get into that necessarily?
There's a lot of things. Like like growing up, like in my house, like how many movies I had and stuff like that. Like I just grew up watching like everything.
This guy had like vaults.
Yeah.
Of movies.
Yeah, and just like slowly over time, I kind of like developed that urge to do it. Like I was in drama class 7th and 8th grade, and I didn't really feel it then.
Right.
But after high school, I started seeing people like my age in shows and TV movies and stuff.
Right.
And it kind of like intrigued me a little more. So in these past few years, I started taking acting classes at the Performing Arts Center downtown.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, okay, like I really like doing this. Like it feels good. It's another way of expressing myself and kind of getting stuff out, kind of like how music is.
Right. It's another venting post for you now.
Yeah, and like seeing that show, I don't know if you've seen Euphoria.
Yeah.
Yeah, like seeing that show kind of like inspired me more. Actors like Timothée Chalamet,
Okay.
Saoirse Ronan, people who are around our age doing it, like made me want to do it more. So, and now I'm trying to dip my foot into the audition process.
Right.
And I just recently uploaded my self-tape interview video to HBO for Euphoria season 2.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I sent that in. So we'll see. But
yeah,
that's my first like official trying to get into
branch
something.
into that.
So, yeah.
Well, nothing but the best of luck
I
and
know.
absolute positivity for
Oh,
that,
yeah.
my man. Is there? I know that you mentioned a couple actors that kind of inspired you to do that, but is there a certain or specific actor that made you like, oh, I want to do what he's doing?
Yeah, well, there's a couple, like my favorite actors, and there's two about the same level, Ryan Gosling and Jake Gyllenhaal are my
Okay.
2 favorite actors of all time. And
Great actors.
yeah, for sure. And a few years ago, there's a movie called Call Me By Your Name, and there's actor Timothée Chalamet in it.
Okay.
And he's about my age, but once I saw him, I kind of like, for some reason, I got kind of like a jolt of like, I gotta do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah, and seeing him kind of develop into what he is now, like he's starting to be in a bigger name. Like I don't know if you know what Dune is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna be in that movie.
Okay.
Coming out, and yeah, he's getting bigger roles, and I think it's just kind of like inspiring to see. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Do you feel like that? This is like a question that I want to ask all my guests that come on this show. As far as like your career musically and acting wise and everything, when it actually happens, do you think you're ready for everything? Because like, I mean, we're kind of at a standpoint where like we understand how some of the industry works. We know how certain things work, but like when it's all set in stone and like one day you get a call back and you're like, hey man, you got your audition, get ready for work, you know what I mean? Like, do you think that you'll be ready for the pressure, or do you think that you could fumble?
I I think honestly, it's hard to say because I think you'd actually have to be there to really know. But I like to think. Obviously, I'm gonna be like hella nervous at first,
Right.
You know, but me being in a place where I wanted to do this for a while now, I think I'll just take it head on and see what I can do with it. I'm pretty confident in it. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, especially doing these classes and stuff and kind of sharpening the craft so far. I mean, there's still a lot of work to do, obviously.
Right.
But yeah, the kind of thing that kind of got me going too is my teacher on my last class or last day. He kind of just told me, he's like, dude, you should be working in acting. So I'm like, okay, cool. And I kind of like
that gave you that that motivation, that
for sure,
confidence.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So
that's cool.
Overall, I think I'd just tackle it head on and try to make the most of it.
I think that's the best response that you can have is just kind of go with the flow, tackle it as it goes, you know.
Yeah, and that goes with like music too. If that takes off,
right,
same deal.
Right.
So,
do you feel like if one of those careers, either the music or the acting, if one of those was to blow up before the other one, do you think that you would kind of disclose the other chapter? Like say like you're getting tons of acting gigs, you're getting some movies, commercials, whatever it may be, and you're making your money off that. Do you think that you'll be like, you know, maybe the music thing wasn't my jam, you know what I mean? Or do you think that like that would boost the other side as well, you know what I mean?
I think it would boost the other side. Like, no matter what takes off first, like, I'm going to do the other thing. And I think you can just look at it like, if one of them takes off before the other, you can use that as a way to get into the other thing.
Right.
So, yeah, kind of like how Jared Leto does 30 Seconds to Mars, and he's an actor.
Right.
And there's several other examples of that too.
Right.
But yeah, I definitely, like, take advantage of it.
Right. You use every outlet that you could to get yours out there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. As far as like, I mean, obviously because you've been around the hip hop scene in Denver, do you have any Denver artists that you would recommend people to listen to?
Yeah, there's a couple. I think like the Denver hip hop scene, like, overall is kind of a complicated thing. As far as like support goes, and it's mainly like competition, like is what I gathered over the years that we've done it.
Right.
But yeah, there's a few. I think on the top of the list is probably Vali.
Okay.
Just talking to him and working on stuff with him, he seems like genuine, and his music is like has an edge to it.
Absolutely.
That a lot of other people don't have.
Yeah.
So
I feel like as far as like his standpoint in the game, like he reminds me a lot of like your standpoint, because you guys are very different as far as the images go and even the music itself, because if you listen to his music, it's definitely heavy, you know. It's some heavy stuff, and not a lot of people dig that. A lot of people dig it. It don't matter, but I definitely would agree with you that he's definitely someone to look out for. And super excited. Me and him have been talking for a little bit as well, and we got some things in the works that I'll maybe disclose a little later at the end of the show. Anybody else that you could throw out there? Maybe one or two more?
Off the top of my head, Bella's Wayland Heartthrob is a good one.
Okay.
I like his music. It's more singy a little bit.
Right.
But it's cool. I like his. And obviously, you know, you, Just Lucid, Cruze, MC Slur, now A Breezy.
Yeah, A Breezy and Chosen.
Always Chosen, always support the home team. But yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
For sure.
So usually on this podcast, what I like to do is kind of get into the supernatural side of things. Of course, I have so many stories that I'm sure I will tell over the course of this podcast, but do you believe in the supernatural? Do you believe? Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. A lot of people, like, when I told them about like the concept of Limbo effects and how I like to talk about that stuff, they like shut me down. They're like, "What? I can't. I don't believe in ghosts." You know what I mean? So as far as that goes, do you have an experience that like made you like, oh, there's more than just us here, or something like that?
There's a couple, and obviously there's a few that I've had pretty much almost every house you've been in.
Yeah.
There's been little things here and there, but there's a few things that stick out to me, like especially at my house, 2 houses before this, in Harvest Meadows.
Okay.
That house was pretty like screwed up, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, with my little sister seeing stuff, and back then she was like, 3.
She was so young. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was that one time where my mom went into another room and my sister opened the basement door, I guess. And she slammed it shut and told my mom there's a guy at the end of the stairs with his arms crossed and he was like tapping his foot.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And her and my mom opened the door again and he was gone. And my sister was like, he's gone. Like kind of surprised. And yeah, so just stuff like that, I think.
Because I remember you telling me quite a different occasions where your sister would experience things. And I mean, I've experienced things at that house, and even our good buddy Steven has experienced things at that house.
Yeah, there's plenty of stuff there.
So even though that like your sister was the one to have the experience, was that kind of like the moment to like make you be like, that there's spirits among us,
Well, I've kind of always believed it because, like I said, like growing up, going to your house and stuff, I've always like heard things. Like Brighton Road, that house was screwed up too, I think.
Well, I'll definitely have to tell a story about old Brighton Road.
Yeah, but that house and just stuff growing up, I've always believed in it. And yeah, that house in particular, like for some reason, everyone would like try to stay away from my room. And because I always felt weird shit in there, like when I was home alone by myself, it was around 2 a.m, and I usually closed my bedroom door all the way.
Yeah.
And Biscuit, my dog, he would sleep on my bed. And around 2 a.m, I woke up and the door was like about this open. And I look over and you can't see anything; it's all dark.
Yeah.
But Biscuit was just like going off. But I looked over there and I just felt it, and I just like turned back over and I'm like, nope,
not dealing with
it. Yeah,
this.
but I definitely felt it. It felt like, I don't know, like heavy, like almost.
Yeah, sometimes like you don't even have to see something. It's that presence that gives you such an intense, overwhelming feeling,
For sure.
The Old Brighton Road was, I mean, I've had experience in most of all the places that I've lived in, but definitely Old Brighton Road was one of the ones to pull out of the hat for sure. Background on Old Brighton Road, it was built very early 1800s, and my father is a very good handyman / electrician / he knows what the fuck he's doing. So he took this old ass house and kind of revamped it up, and we lived there for what, good like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Most of my teenage years. So like it already had like that weird obvious like feelings, you know what I mean? Like like you walk into a room and you just automatically feel something. And like I have plenty of stories, but this is one of the times that like fucking made me like really open my eyes to like the afterlife, or to think about the afterlife. But I was we just moved in not too long after we moved in, and I was hanging out with my dad, and we're just chilling out in the living room watching some TV, and then all of a sudden we just hear a little kid voice go, "Dusty," which is my father's name. And we both like turned around and like didn't like see something. We thought it was the neighbor's kid. Because there was the neighbor's kid. Didn't think too much about it. Heard it again, and that's when my dad was like, "What the fuck?" So he like goes outside to see if the neighbor's kid was around. Definitely was not around. I think the kid was fucking in school or something. You know what I mean? Anyways, he comes back in, and that's when he was working for a truck company, driving semis. So he was getting ready to go out for quite some time. Anyways, he leaves, and I think my mom was at work too. I was the only one in the house, and I decided to take a nap. Anyways, during this nap, I like start to like get to that sleep mode, and I just kind of start getting that like paranoid feeling, like what the fuck. So I open my eyes, and I still have that weird paranoid feeling. I'm like looking around, and I shit you not, man. The living room, there was a door in the living room where you'd open that, and there was the hallway, and then the stairs to go upstairs.
Yeah.
And then there was that other door to either go outside or close the door or whatever. The door to go into the hallway was open, so you could see the stairs. Well, I finally like had enough of that paranoid feeling, and I stood up. And when I stood up, there was a window to see more of the stairs at the top of that door or whatever.
Yeah.
When I did that, I saw an old man's face. Like he was just standing on the rail with his hands on the rail like this, just like looking at me like this, like he was like intrigued by me or something.
Freak the fuck out.
Yeah, well, I kind of did. I freaked out, and I ran into the kitchen. And that's when, for some reason, my dad would leave like this like fucking like spare phone in that little mud room when you would walk into the house, like a little burner phone, and it was just used to like for emergencies. Well, I thought a motherfucker was in my house, so I went to go call the cops. And for some odd reason, when I went to like dial 911, I was just like, this doesn't feel right. So I went back inside the house, and he was gone. You know, I mean, there was I searched the whole house, and who fucking does that as a 14-year-old?
Right.
First, I should have called the cops. You know what I mean? But fucking 14-year-old Justus was like, "Fuck, I'll go fucking take this old man on." You know what I mean? But yeah, that was definitely one of the times where I was like, "There's more to this life than we think."
Right.
I think, at least I would like to think. You know
Yeah,
what
for
I mean?
sure. Yeah.
Do you believe in heaven or hell?
Do I believe in heaven and hell? I believe in some sort of afterlife. Something has to happen, right, after this. I like to think.
So they say.
Yeah.
They say, yeah.
Yeah, it just sucks that we can't know, really.
Yeah, I think, you know, of course, anybody could go on and on about this concept, but the concept of death / the afterlife is such a mind-boggling thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you could throw yourself into a fucking psychosis where,
because you can like try to describe it any way you want, really.
Yeah.
Nothing would be wrong. Nothing you come up with would be wrong because you don't know.
Right.
So it's definitely like a weird thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think, I don't know, this is always an interesting question too. Do you think when you die that you'll be able to see everyone in this life again? Because, you know, there's, you know, the rumors of, or not rumors, but that, you know, there's beliefs. Speculations of, you know, reincarnation or,
Right.
You know, heaven or hell or purgatory, you know, stuff like that. Do you think that everyone is a part of that same cloud, or do you think that everybody has their own afterlife per se? Because we're energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And energy can't die.
Yeah, it just lives on.
It always will exist.
Yeah.
And that's where they say, like, oh, ghosts are just, you know, basically a reenactment, of like somebody's life. But
that's what they said on the ghost tour that I took downtown one time. That's what they were talking about too.
And like, I feel like, don't get me wrong, if the afterlife and you're just this energy, or you're a ghost or whatever the fuck you want to put it as,
and they don't know they're ghosts,
and they don't know they're ghosts, like. Yeah, I feel like, well, and especially if that is the afterlife, like you're just still on this earth or whatever, and you're just there.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I can't believe it all the way, and of course that's my own personal opinion. But I don't know. I just fuck that.
Right, and I think
you know?
An interesting like way to think about it too is like I was watching Joe Rogan's podcast, and he was talking about the kind of like theory of like, I guess kind of reincarnation, except like you like live your life, you start from the beginning again until you get it right. Like you keep doing it until you get it right.
My mom would always tell me that too.
Right, and but you wouldn't know, like you don't know how many, if that's true, like you don't know how many times you've already done this, right? Like,
right.
You don't think about it until you think about it. So.
I feel like even that thought would would drive a person mad. Like,
Right, it's crazy.
I
It's
mean,
like-
to think about that, like, would you really, like, would you be, like, okay accepting that? Like, all right, I have to repeat this fucking life
Right.
over and over and over until my soul
can
is
rest.
satisfied and can rest.
And the weird thing is, like, you wouldn't even know you're redoing it again, though. Unless, like, we're talking about it right now. And then once you die, like, you start over and you don't know.
Right.
It's just, you're living the life.
You're just doing it
Yeah,
again.
and you don't even know you're doing it again. You're just doing
That's fucked up.
it. Right.
I
'Cause,
feel like
I
that's
said,
fucked up.
like I said, we don't even know, like, if that's true, we don't know how many, like, this could be our, like, 10,000th time of doing it.
I'm fucking doing it, right?
Yeah. And I think each time could have a different, obviously, different outcome. You know, and there's also the theory of alternate realities.
Right.
Like, this could be happening somewhere else. Like, this exactly how it's happening now could be happening somewhere else.
Right.
And it's just a weird thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know, there's scientists that study multi-universes, and I mean, fuck. I was watching the Joe Rogan podcast, and I forget the name of his guest, but he was an astronaut.
Okay.
And he was pretty much saying that. I mean, this dude worked for NASA, and he also works for what is his name? He owns Tesla, and
Oh, Elon Musk.
yeah, he works for Elon Musk now.
Oh, okay.
But he was saying within the next generation or two that we'll essentially be living a life like Star Trek, where we're living in fucking big spaceships and travel into different universes and planets and stuff like that. Like,
Wow.
I don't know. It just it mind boggles me again.
Yeah,
you know.
for sure. Yeah, and I think the one I believe the most is probably the one where you redo your life again.
You think that
That's like the one I believe the most right now.
do you accept that? Are you okay with that? Because
I don't know, like in a way, like if you think about it, like there's some things you can go back and redo if you think about it right now.
Right.
Like, oh, it'd be kind of cool if I could.
That's the fucked up thing, though.
'Cause you
is
don't know.
If that is the true fact of what happens to a soul, or you know, to repeat life and life and life, like you would never know that you're doing it. So
Exactly.
you would never have that. Maybe you would have that same moment, but you would probably react the same fucking way that
I
you
think
did
that
your
could be
last
deja vu. Like when you have deja vu,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I've done this. Like that
Yeah.
could be that.
Yeah, and that's where like that kind of shit makes me think like, yeah, maybe that is the reality of afterlife, or you know, life and death. Or
Yeah,
whatever
and then
it
maybe
is.
like if you
Right.
like if you're gonna go do something and you have like a second thought about it,
Yeah.
maybe that's like your past self kind of like giving you like a hint or something,
Uh-huh.
like hey, don't do this or do that.
Okay.
And now it's
yeah.
all up to you in that moment if you want to go through with it or not.
Right.
Yeah.
See, and like, I totally get both sides, because like, of course, like I would love to do this life again and like do it in ways that like I could have done differently.
That'd be so tight. If
You know what I
I
mean?
wish I can go back to like elementary school.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like
Shit, I would start over again.
like I don't
yeah.
know about you, but sometimes when I think about like that, because like it really hasn't been too long since we were there.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
But like I get depressed sometimes when I think about it. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
fuck. Like when you're in there, in that moment when you're in elementary school, you're a kid. Like it doesn't feel like it's going fast until you get to like right now, and you're like, damn, that was fast as fuck.
Yeah.
And like I want to do it. I wish I could do it again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I definitely feel you with that, because I feel like, I mean, of course, like who wouldn't be a different person than who they are even back in high school?
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. If there was a way that you could like trigger something in the brain to be like, okay, I have done this before. Let me do it differently and see how this goes. Like, and I don't know. There's so much shit you can get into with this, and I don't want to ramble.
Yeah, that's the I guess cool thing about it. You can talk about it forever, but
Right.
and you'll never reach a conclusion. Because
Well,
you don't know.
Well, the two things, and I feel like this is a fact. Everybody fucking dies.
Oh yeah.
You know, everybody.
And we're
fucking
the
dies.
only
That's
species that are like, aware that we are going to die.
Do you think
like
so?
I feel like we are, or one of the few.
I don't know, man. I feel like even like this is going off into what you're saying, but I mean, fucking like a lion that's out in the wild and has to hunt to survive. I feel like they know they're dying.
Well,
You know what
I
mean?
feel like they'll know they're dying when they're dying, but I'm talking about as far as like
They
when
don't
they're
think
living,
about,
they
like,
don't think
death
about it.
in-
Yeah,
in
it's
advance.
not a thing that they know is gonna happen. They just know when it's happening as it's happening.
That's fucked.
Yeah, I think that we are the only species to be aware of it our whole life now.
I think I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think I would definitely have to dive into that some more.
Right.
Say that what we're talking about is a fact that we repeat this life over and over and over again. What do you hope or think happens when your soul is finally satisfied and put to rest? Do you think that you finally like achieve like a paradise afterlife where you can be with your lost friends and family, like a heaven per se, or do you think that you just kind of not exist anymore? Because that's what scares me the most.
And I don't think that's even possible, because we don't even know what, like, if you're gonna say like nothing happens, like we don't know what nothing is. There has to be something to be nothing.
Right. Yeah, the concept of nothing is very fucking.
Yeah, it can't just be like.
It can't just be.
It can't
nothing.
be nothing.
And
what
is nothing? There is that's such a
like there has
concept.
to be something
Yeah,
in the nothing.
yeah. Right.
So yeah, but I'd like to think like if that is true and you like complete what you needed to.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do go to some sort of heaven or whatever that reunites you with whoever.
Yeah.
You lost or whatever.
See, because then I would feel like everything is fair.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't care if I have to do this life a gazillion amount of times.
Right.
And a gazillion's not a fucking number, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I would do it over and over if one final moment I could be like, all right, I'm done, I'm cool, you know what I
right.
mean? And I got the people that I need with me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a very interesting concept.
Yeah, it's just scary to think about it too.
Because
like you would hope like at the end you'd like still like people you know in your life, you'd still like see them in some way after when it's over.
Well, do you think like with this like repeating life over until it's satisfied, do you think you're always the same person? Like, do you think you're always Damian and your mom is always your mom and your dad's always your dad and your brothers and sisters are always them? Like, or do you think you become a different like body because religions say that bodies are just vessels and they're only used for this lifetime?
I think if we're talking about redoing your life over again, then yeah, but it could go that way. And it's like, no, I'm fucking out.
and that's what like kind of scares me, because like if we're reincarnated into like new people or new shells or whatever the fuck you want to call it, like, because then you're not gonna have the same loved ones. They're gonna be new loved ones.
But at the same time, that's gonna be normal to whoever you become. So it's not even gonna be a thing.
But that's what's fucked up though, because then
you won't even know.
Well, yeah, you won't even know, and then in all reality, your past life, all the people that you loved and fucking cared about, they're not them anymore. So it's like they like almost don't exist to you.
But so think about it this way
too.
Like if that's true, like right now we don't know who we were. Right? You don't even think about it.
Right.
You just like...
Well, because you always feel like you're you.
Yeah, you're you, and
yeah.
you have your shit. So I think that's like, I guess, kind of comforting in a way, because like, you won't really know.
You won't have... Right.
Yeah, you'll just be you, whoever you are.
I guess it's a fucked up comfort.
Right.
It's like, you won't ever know, but it's fucked up.
Right.
Like,
if we're talking about it now, like right now.
Yeah, it is so fucked. You won't ever see the people you love again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're forgotten.
Yeah.
That's what it becomes. And I mean, I guess your past self would be forgotten too if it was like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I don't know. It is so fucked up to me, but it's
because
like
I could be like
comfortable.
When people talk about like, oh, in a past life I was this or whatever. Like you could have been that. Like any dreams that you have now could have been that past person's dreams. It just carries on to whoever you are next.
Right.
Until it's done.
Right. So. Yeah, and I guess like if you think about it, it almost makes more sense for you to become someone new, because like time doesn't stop.
No.
You know what I mean? This world is forever gonna go until this world dies. You know what I mean?
And it will.
It will. I don't think it'll happen
nowhere near our lifetime. Maybe like I don't know, 1 million people from us maybe. Like,
I mean, I don't know.
It's hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, but anything could happen. I mean, fucking 2 days from now, there could be an asteroid that fucking takes us out. You know what I mean? Who knows? But, it's a very interesting concept, and I'm glad that you were able to talk about this, because this is definitely what I like to talk about.
Yeah.
How long have we been going?
Probably
Is this
almost
thing
an hour,
done
over an
now?
hour.
Okay. Well, I guess we could wrap this up, man.
Cool.
Let's see here, man. Is Jesus Christ. Is there anything that we could look forward to very soon from your acting, your podcast? What should we be looking out next?
As far as music goes, the first Live from the Gallows single next month sometime. And as far as the YouTube thing for Thwackjack, me and Anthony are gonna have our first episode of our skit show out, hopefully within the next few months.
Okay.
So yeah, I think those two things for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you want to shout out your social medias and we will wrap this motherfucker up?
Yeah, Instagram is Deathsense Boy, and Twitter is Damian Leyba, and Facebook, you can find me if you want. But yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for coming, man.
For sure.
Absolutely grateful to have you here.
Definitely.
All right. Peace out, everybody.